please allow me to apologize beforehand to Steve Kerr on national television, because in no way are these comments generated towards him specifically. It's just that he's the guy in this position. So because he's the subject at hand, it speaks to a bigger issue. But in no way am I trying to question his abilities as a coach.
Yep.
I'm trying to bring into question his job as an executive for the Phoenix Suns from 2007 to 2010. If he ends up getting the Knicks job, more power to him. I wish him luck. We all know I'm a diehard Knicks fan, and I'll be rooting for him because I'm going to always be rooting for the Knicks. And I mean none of what I'm about to say towards him personally, even towards Phil Jackson personally. It's not about that. But I'm incredibly uncomfortable with what I'm seeing transpire. You know, back in 2008 or so, when Mike D'Antoni got the job with the New York Knicks, Mark Jackson was a candidate for that job. He wasn't a candidate for anything else. Before that, Avery Johnson was coach of the year, won 66 games, went to an NBA Finals, all right? It was like pulling teeth for him to ultimately get the Nets job. Mike Woodson didn't have a good year this year, but the year before, won 54 games. He'll be lucky to get another head coaching job. Jeff Hornacek, God bless him, did a fantastic job, all right? And he got the Phoenix Suns job. I guess what I'm saying is, I understand that it's not applicable in every case, but forgive me, I need help, America. What the hell did Steve Kerr do to become some golden boy? From what I'm being told, in my circles, in the peeps that I rap to, covering the NBA for the last 18 years, Steve Kerr is not just a likely choice for the Knicks job. He could possibly get the Lakers job if he really, really wanted it bad enough. And if he wanted Golden State, they might fire Mark Jackson by lunchtime to give it to him. I'm going to ask that question again. What the hell does Steve Kerr do to be a coaching candidate in two of the largest markets in the United States of America? And oh, by the way, San Francisco, the Oakland Bay area ain't shabby. It's one of the top 5 markets in America. I don't get it. I'm lost. I don't understand it. You never coached a day in your life, ever. You weren't a head coach in college, wasn't a head coach on the pro level, and you're a golden boy? I'm sorry, we're going to sit here and get uncomfortable. That's what we're going to have to do. Y'all know of any black candidate that happened for? I said it. Black, yes. Doc Rivers. You got the job in Orlando. Grant Hill is hurt. He was supposed to come there healthy. Him and T-Mac were supposed to do some things. It didn't happen. They couldn't kick Doc Rivers out of town quick enough. I mean, damn it, they might have pulled him off the golf course if he wasn't on the sideline, for crying out loud. He gets a job in Boston before Kevin McHale, all right, gave a gift as the executive of the Minnesota Timberwolves, looked out for his boy Danny Ainge, and gave a gift to Boston by shipping KG there, all right? Doc Rivers was on his way out of there, despite the inept job that Danny Ainge was doing. And it wasn't until Doc Rivers ultimately was given the tools with KG, with Paul Pierce, with Ray Allen, and delivered by winning a championship was he all of a sudden elevated.
Okay.
But prior to that, he couldn't get that. But here we have a guy in Steve Kerr who I profoundly respect, does a fantastic job on television, did a good job as an executive for the Phoenix Suns, will probably do a good job with the New York Knicks, and I have no aversion to that. My challenge, the reason why this is a subject to me is I don't understand for the life of me. It's one thing for you to have a coaching, to be a candidate for a coaching job. But to be considered the golden boy, where everybody's willing to knock down doors just to bring you in, what resume do you have that says that you should be a leading candidate for New York, L.A., and the San Francisco, Oakland Bay area? There is something that is incredibly wrong with that. And it needs to be said. And damn it, I'm tired of the fact that it hasn't been said until today. I have heard nobody bring that up. Nobody on any network anywhere. What has he done to be a primetime coaching candidate? I don't get it. I'm lost, and I'm sorry about that, Steve Kerr. If I'd say it about anybody else that was in this position. I don't mean to target him.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
Right.
It's not his fault.
Are you saying that the NBA needs a Rooney Rule like the NFL has?
I'm not going to go that far because there's plenty of African Americans, there are plenty of black folks that have been head coaches in the NBA. I think they're the last league that needs the Rooney Rule, but I do think it speaks in a very uncomfortable way that Steve Kerr is this golden boy with no coaching resume to speak of. That's a problem because that don't happen for black folks.
Okay, just on balance, because you mentioned several. We've had issues in college football where a black head coach couldn't get a second job. But you mentioned several. Mike Woodson did get a second job. Doc got a second job. Larry Drew got a second job. I could probably go on. So it's not like it's one and done, right? Okay, just for the record. Just, and obviously, without going into the detail, the NBA has a much higher percentage of black head coaches than the NFL does.
They do.
Okay, just on balance. You know how much I'm with you about Steve Kerr's resume. He has no resume. I don't think he'll make a great head coach. We've talked about this because he was an executive. He doesn't seem to have the edge to be an NBA head coach. He's a very, very nice guy. Probably too nice a guy.
And a very smart basketball man.
Okay, but remember, how did his name first surface as a coaching candidate? Phil Jackson. Why would Phil Jackson tab Steve Kerr? What would he see in Steve Kerr? And I'm overstating the case, but it's puppet. Here's a guy who learned under me, a guy I coached, who believes in everything I believe in. He is Big Chief Triangle, we know that. And so here's Steve Kerr, who worships at the altar of Phil Jackson and the Triangle. What better way, if you want an extension of yourself on the bench, if you're not going to coach yourself, the closest thing to having your surrogate coach, your substitute coach, would be Steve Kerr.